Welcome back, everyone. And in today's video lesson, we are going to talk about the basic interval set. Now, this is a set of intervals that you want to commit to memory. This includes all of your major intervals, minor intervals, and your perfect intervals. It's also going to include a single augmented and or diminished interval, depending on your perspective, but it's not going to include all of the augmented and all of the diminished intervals. And the reason for that is, well, augmented and diminished intervals aren't as important to memorize if you're sort of a casual musician. But if you are a casual musician, it is really important to memorize all the others. So let's go ahead and get started. I have below written a C major scale, and so we're going to go ahead and start labeling this. Let's make a couple of quick reminders here. If I write P, that equals perfect. That's a perfect interval. If I write capital M, that's going to be major. And if I write a lowercase m, that's going to be minor. And I guess if I write A, that'll be augmented. And if I write lowercase d, that's diminished. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, when I think about the interval of going from C to C, right? The same C, not C to C an octave away, but C to the same C, well, that's going to be a unison. And so we're going to call that a perfect 1. Now, if I think about going from C to D, then we're going to call that a major second. If I think about the interval from C to E, we're going to call that a major third. The interval that is from C to F would be considered a perfect fourth. The interval from C to G is going to be considered to be a perfect fifth. The interval from C to A is going to be major sixth. The interval from C to B is going to be major 7. And finally, the interval from C to C, an octave away, we're going to call that P8 because it's an octave. So now we have the intervals of the major scale. Let's go ahead and add in the ones for the minor scale. So D flat, E flat, A flat, B flat. And I know you might be thinking C minor doesn't have a D flat. That is actually very true, but what I'm really trying to accomplish here is drawing out all the notes. So as we do this, we have a C to D flat, which we are going to call a minor second. C to E flat, we'll call that a minor third. C to A flat, we're going to call that a minor sixth. C to B flat, we're going to call that minor 7. And that leaves us with just about all of them except right here. Okay, so notice I have almost all the notes. C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, missing something, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C. Okay, so we're missing something here. So what are we going to put there? And this is what I mentioned earlier about having a single augmented / diminished interval. And we could look at this as two ways, F sharp or G flat. And if I called it F sharp, then we would call this A4, augmented fourth. And if I called it G flat, then we would call it D5. And hopefully you can see why. Well, because here it's going from F up to F sharp, and to augment something is to make something bigger, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're making it bigger. We're making the distance bigger. And to diminish something is to make something smaller, and that's what we're doing here. We're making G going down to G flat, it's making the interval smaller. So if I think about from C to G as a certain size, C to G flat is smaller. If I think about C to F is a certain size, but then C to F sharp is larger. So these are all the intervals that we're going to see. So let's go ahead and write this out in a little cleaner form. P1, minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, and then here's where it gets kind of funny, right? Then we have, let's do it like this, we have augmented fourth or diminished fifth, and then moving on, we have perfect fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, and finally perfect eighth. And we want to just make some really quick notes about what's going on. And let's see, here's what I would see. Let's look at this area. So M and M, M and M. And let's also look at this area. Here we also have M and M, M and M. Okay, so nice to notice. Minor before major because minors are smaller. And that's always the case. Minor, major, minor, major, minor, major, minor, major. So it's always the case. And you could see perfect at the beginning, perfect at the end, and perfect right here that separates this area. So it's kind of neat to see. You can actually see a definitive pattern that's going on here. Okay, so we've got perfect, M and M, perfect. Then we've got the aug or diminished, perfect, M and M, perfect. So let's go ahead and take a look at the A major scale and what that would look like. And so we would have perfect unison, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seven, and perfect eight. Let's add in a few other intervals here that we're missing. This would be either D sharp or E flat, F, and G. Now if we put all those together, this would be a minor second, minor third, and this would be our augmented fourth or diminished fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh. Okay, so once again, what do we see? Well, we've got perfect, M and M, perfect, and then over here on this side, you can see pretty much the same idea, right? Perfect, M and M, perfect. So this is your basic set of intervals that you want to memorize, which includes perfect unison, minor second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, and then either an aug 4 diminished fifth, perfect fifth, minor 6, minor 7, major 7, perfect 8.